I carry everyone, and I'm so tired. This isn't something I say out loud, not to my husband, not to my children, not to my mother, not even to my closest friend. Because mothers aren't supposed to say this. Married women, especially, aren't supposed to say this. We're supposed to say, I'm fine, I can manage, it's nothing. We're supposed to smile when someone asks how we're doing and say, busy but good, even when we're running on empty. So this is a quiet confession. The kind you only admit to yourself when the house is finally asleep and you're still awake. When you're staring at the ceiling thinking about tomorrow's to-do list and realizing you never finish today's. When you're so tired your bones ache but your mind won't stop running. This is for the women who carry everything and pretend it weighs nothing. This is for you, and maybe for me too. I don't remember when carrying everyone became normal. I try to think back sometimes. Was there a specific moment? A conversation I didn't notice? A request I said yes to that became permanent? Somewhere between marriage and motherhood, I stopped being asked and started being expected. Meals. Someone has to plan them. Shop for them. Cook them. Remember who doesn't like mushrooms and who's trying to eat less gluten and what we already had twice this week. Emotions. Someone has to notice when the child is quiet. When my husband is stressed but won't say it. When the tension in the room needs softening. Schedules. Someone has to remember dentist appointments and school events and when bills are due and whose birthday is coming up. Needs. Someone has to anticipate them before they're even spoken. And somehow, that someone became me. Not because I volunteered. Not because anyone asked if I wanted this role. But because I was capable. Because I noticed. Because I cared. At first, it felt like love. Then it felt like duty. And then one day, it just felt heavy. But by then, everyone was already used to me carrying it. And I didn't know how to put it down without everything falling apart. I don't just do the work, I think the work. There's a phrase for this mental load, but I don't think people really understand what that means until they've lived it. It's not just remembering things. It's holding an entire web of information in your mind that connects everyone's needs to everyone else's needs, and to the calendar, and to the budget, and to what's realistic, and to what matters most right now. I remember who has soccer practice on Tuesday, who needs new shoes but keeps forgetting to mention it, that we're almost out of milk, that my mother-in-law's birthday is next week, that my daughter mentioned a school project 3 days ago and it's probably due soon. I notice when my son is eating less than usual, when my husband is scrolling his phone more, when the house feels tense even though no one's fighting. I adjust. I lighten my tone when everyone's on edge. I plan easier meals when I know the week will be hard. I check in without being obvious about it. This work doesn't have a job description. No one trained me for it. No one pays me for it. No one even sees most of it. Because the goal of this work is to make everything run so smoothly that no one notices you're doing it. And when you do it well, everyone assumes it just happens. They think life is just easy like this. That meals appear. That appointments get remembered. That emotions get managed. They don't see the work. They just see the result. And this work doesn't end when the lights go off. It follows me into bed. I lie awake thinking, did I sign that permission slip? Should I text his teacher about that thing? What are we doing for dinner tomorrow? It follows me into sleep. I dream about grocery lists, about schedules, about all the things I forgot to do. It's always there, a hum in the background of my entire life. They call me strong. My husband says it. My mother says it. Friends say it. You're so strong. You handle everything so well. I don't know how you do it, and I smile when they say it, because that's what you do when someone gives you a compliment. But inside, I think, you only say that because you don't plan to help. Strong has become another word for she'll handle it. It means I don't have to worry about this because she's got it. It means she doesn't need support. Look how capable she is. It means she never complains, so she must be fine. Strong women don't get asked, "Are you okay?" They get told, "You've got this." Strong women don't get help. They get more responsibility. Because if you can carry 10 things, surely you can carry 11. And maybe I am strong. Maybe I am capable. But strength isn't limitless, and capable doesn't mean unbreakable. Sometimes I want someone to see past the strength and notice the exhaustion underneath. Sometimes I want to not be strong. Just for a day, just for an hour. Sometimes I want someone to say, "You've been carrying this for a long time. Let me take it for a while." But they don't, because I've made it look too easy. Marriage teaches you something no one prepares you for. You can share a bed and still feel alone. I don't mean we don't love each other. We do. I don't mean he's cruel or neglectful. He's not. But being together doesn't mean being carried. And sometimes, your husband rests because you're holding everything steady. He doesn't see the weight because it never reaches his shoulders. When he comes home tired from work, he gets to rest. When I'm tired, there's still dinner, still bedtime, still the mental checklist of everything undone. And it's not that he wouldn't help if I asked. He would. But I shouldn't have to ask for him to see what needs doing. I shouldn't have to manage his participation in our shared life. There's this thing that happens in marriage, especially after kids. The woman becomes the manager, and the man becomes the helper. Even in progressive households, even in marriages where both people work, she notices, she plans, she delegates. He helps when asked. And you don't say anything about this because you don't want to sound ungrateful. You don't want to be difficult. You don't want to be the nagging wife who's never satisfied. So you stay quiet, and the loneliness grows. Not because you're unloved, but because you're unseen. Because the work you do is invisible until you stop doing it. And even then, sometimes it's just, "Why didn't you?" Never I should have noticed. This is the loneliest part of marriage, loving someone and still feeling like you're doing it alone. There is a kind of anger mothers carry quietly. It doesn't shout. It doesn't slam doors. It doesn't break things. It folds laundry. It cooks dinner. It says, "It's okay" when it's not. It smiles through exhaustion. It swallows words that want to scream. This anger lives in your chest like a small fire you keep contained because you're afraid of what happens if you let it out. It comes from small things, stepping over the shoes he left in the hallway, again. Making the appointment he said he'd make, again. Being the only one who remembers it's your child's best friend's birthday party this weekend. It comes from realizing if I stop doing this, things don't magically fall apart. They just get noticed. And that realization hurts more than exhaustion. Because it means The only reason this work is invisible is because I've been doing it silently. The only reason no one appreciates it is because I've made it look effortless. The only reason I'm tired is because I'm the only one carrying it. And you can't be angry about something people don't even know they're not doing. You can't resent someone for not seeing what you've worked so hard to make invisible. So the anger stays quiet. It becomes short answers, heavy sighs, doing things with just a little more force than necessary. It becomes, I'm fine when you're not. Never mind when you're exhausted from explaining. I'll just do it myself when you've given up asking. And the saddest part? Sometimes you direct that anger at yourself for not being better at this, for feeling resentful, for wishing someone would just see you. But this anger isn't wrong. It's just tired. Here's what I learned too late. When you carry everything, people forget you need carrying too. Not because they're cruel, not because they don't love you, but because you made it look easy. I learned that love doesn't mean disappearing. That being a good mother doesn't mean erasing myself. That being a good wife doesn't mean having no needs. I learned that asking for help isn't weakness. That resting isn't selfish. That saying, I can't do this right now, doesn't make me a failure. I learned that being quiet doesn't mean being weak. Sometimes it just means you've been strong for too long. I learned that the people who love you can't read your mind. That silence doesn't protect anyone. That resentment grows in the space where honesty should have been. I learned that I taught people how to treat me by accepting less than I needed. That boundaries aren't mean. That saying no is a complete sentence. I learned all of this too late. After years of carrying, after years of silence, after years of thinking that martyrdom was the same as love. But maybe it's not too late. Maybe it's just late. And late is still better than never. I carry everyone. I carry my children, their needs, their emotions, their futures. I carry my marriage, the emotional work, the planning, the noticing. I carry the invisible labor that no one sees until it stops. And yes, I am so tired. But if you're a mother listening to this, if you're a wife who feels this weight, I want you to know something. This tiredness isn't failure. It's proof of how much you've been holding. It's evidence of your love, your care, your relentless dedication to everyone else's well-being. And maybe, just maybe, it's time someone asked how you are. Not in passing, not as small talk, but really asked and really listened. Maybe it's time you asked yourself. This was a quiet confession. But quiet doesn't mean it isn't true.